Hello everyone, and assalamu alaikum guys. Welcome back to 3 a.m. Alive. I hope wherever you are, you're safe, happy, and in good health. May Allah bless you with happiness, a long life, and may He never let you be in need of anyone. May Allah relieve the worries of those who are troubled, grant health to those who are sick, and forgive and bless those who have left this world. Ameen. And please remember me in your prayers as well. I'm Shamoon, and today I'm narrating real creepy and paranormal stories that actually happened to people. These aren't made-up tales, these are experiences people have bravely shared on Reddit. Some of these stories will make your skin crawl. Some will make you question what's real. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and get ready to experience the truly bizarre and terrifying. Let's move towards our first real Reddit story. The Haunted House and the Moving Keys. I moved around a lot as a kid. We were the kind of family that would have boxes that would always go unopened and undisturbed between moves. My dad was a good guy but had issues with authority, so he usually had issues keeping a stable job for more than a year or so. When the lease was up, we'd move closer to his new job. During one of these moves, my dad found a steal next to his job. It was an old 2-bed, 1-bath house with a detached garage. I want to say it was around $300 a month for rent back in 2003. Apparently, it was in a rough part of town, the landlord told us. I won't go into the specifics, but I am required to tell you that someone had passed away in the house within the last 5 years. My dad saw a great deal and shrugged it off. We moved in soon after, and things started very quickly. There were noises in the house all the time. It was like we had other people living there. Things like drawers opening and closing, doors swinging around on their own, water turning on in the bathroom, and then back off. Nothing malicious was happening, so we just lived with it. Another weird quirk about the house was that the front door had a keyhole on both sides, so you could not leave the locked house unless you had the keys. Not a week after we moved in, we lost the keys. Boxes still littered the house, and we were still in unpacking hell. My dad started getting loud about the keys. He accused me of stealing them. He was cursing and being a general pain. Then, out of nowhere, we hear the keys hit the floor in the living room right in front of the couch. He picks them up, tries to rationalize what just happened, says, "F it," and leaves the house for work. Over the next few months, the keys became the center of the activity. My dad would put them in a glass bowl on top of our tube TV every day after work, and somehow they would be moved by the morning. My favorite spot by far was when we found them in a sealed box of pots and pans we needed to unpack. It had those little handle holes on the side of the box, and it was like someone just shoved them into the hole out of spite. We all got a good laugh. Now, the spine-chilling part. The worst thing that happened frequently was the stomping. Most nights around 2-3 a.m., there would be very heavy footsteps pacing in the hallway outside our bedrooms. I confirmed with my dad later that yes, it freaked him out too. We had been living there about 8 months, and I was around 8 years old. One night, I heard the stomping and just couldn't take it. I screamed into the hallway, "Stop stomping around. I need sleep to God damn it." 15 seconds of silence was abruptly interrupted by what sounded like a bull running full speed to my room. Then my door had 3 very aggressive slamming knocks, one after another. It was so loud my dad woke up and came to check on me. My stomach turned, and I suddenly felt like I had to use the toilet. I was frozen in bed when I heard my dad call out, "You okay, buddy?" I mustered the courage to head out to the hallway. As I got up, I could tell something wasn't right. I ran as fast as I could to the toilet, but it didn't help. There was a trail from about halfway between my bedroom and the toilet. My poor dad, worried, followed me into the bathroom. I explained everything, crying, making a mess of myself and the house. I was embarrassed and terrified. After this, my dad told me, "If you ever feel uncomfortable, you can come sleep in my room. Nothing can bug you when I'm around. The final straw came a week later. My dad had been dating a girl for over a year who stayed with us more and more. One night, they had a minor fight before bed. Around 2-3 a.m., his girlfriend got yanked out of bed by one of her ankles and dragged down the hallway. She woke up on the floor, realized what was happening, shrieked, and it let go. She ran back, turned the lights on, and explained everything to my dad. He sent me to an aunt's house and stayed alone in the house for a few months while looking for another place. During packing and moving out, friends who came to help mentioned seeing a small white dog walking around the house. Yeah, that place was haunted AF. All right, we're moving on to our second story. Ghostly smells and floating apparitions. I've seen enough things that I no longer get scared. But I'll share 3 experiences. The most recent was within the last 5 months. A friend of 20+ years passed away last September. He was a heavy smoker and collected magazines. A few weeks after he passed, my home would smell like wet cigarette butts and boxed books. This went on for about a week, and I wasn't the only one who could smell it. I drove to visit my grandmother, whose house is notoriously haunted, after my mother passed away. As we were talking in the living room, I saw a transparent, jellyfish-like figure, the size of a paint can, floating down the hallway. I dismissed it at first, but then it started darting in and out of the entryway into the kitchen. I got up briskly and walked outside, leaving my grandmother mid-sentence. She followed and I explained what happened. She said nothing in the house could hurt me, and I said, but it can make a person hurt themselves. A year before that, my daughter, a little over 2 years old, visited my grandmother. As we left, I asked if she had a nice time. She said yes, but asked, who was the other lady? I tried to get a description. 0, 2, 3, but she refused to talk about it. She said, I don't want to talk about it, and eventually fell asleep quietly. Another incident. A relative passed away last year. I stayed 3 days in their house, sleeping in the living room. The first night, something kept pulling on the bedding. It stopped once, I ignored it. Now let's get into our third story. The Nevada Hotel Ghost. I was driving through northern Nevada alone and decided to pull over for a motel room. Driving at night, there can be dangerous. I first went to a 1-story motel that looked sketchy. I thought, if someone broke into my room while I slept, there would be nothing I could do. I found a bigger, multi-story hotel. The desk clerk was sweet and listened to my request for a 3rd or 4th story room. I probably looked bedraggled from driving all day. I got off on the wrong floor and headed to another elevator. Standing by it, I watched a full elevator car descend. When the doors opened, I saw a misty apparition vaporize in the empty spot in the elevator car. There were 2 men in the car, but they didn't notice anything. I got on alone and wasn't creeped out. I've seen things like that before. Thankfully, I slept well, and nothing else happened. I still wonder if what I saw had to do with the taller guy. Who knows? Finally, let's dive into our 4th and last story. The girl who was already dead. One night, a friend and I were hanging out behind a Little Caesars, sobering up. She asked if I wanted to see something crazy. I said yes. She showed me a photo from her early school days. I studied it but couldn't figure out what I was looking at. She asked if I memorized the photo. I did, but I didn't understand the meaning. She scrolled furiously through her gallery and showed me another photo. This time, the same girl appeared in a classroom, disheveled and weary or homeless. I asked what the photo meant. She snickered. Then I learned that her teacher, shown the same photo, was confused and troubled. The teacher asked when the photo was taken. My friend replied, "The same day you're seeing it." The teacher explained the girl in the photo was not supposed to be there because she had been dead for months. Wow, those stories were intense, weren't they? I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced anything paranormal? If you have a creepy or paranormal story to share, send it to my email, and I might narrate it in a future video. Something that made your skin crawl or left you questioning reality? Drop your story in the comments below. If you enjoyed these stories, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a spine-chilling tale from 3 a.m. Alive. Stay curious, stay aware, and remember, the world is not always as quiet as it seems. I'm Shamoon, and I'll see you in the next video.